Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Hello to everybody in the chat. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where I do recaps about Scientology news, protests that are happening. Also, talk about my 35 years in Scientology with 3 generations of my family, and more importantly, that we left. And I get to do one of my favorite things, which is interviewing people here on YouTube and learning more about what they're doing, what's going on, other creators. And tonight I'm going to speak with Liz Ferris, who I've spoke to before on the channel, but we're going to talk about how she is about to leave and go to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, to protest Scientology. She had you might remember when I had her on the channel, we talked about her. Well, we talked about so much, such a great story. But specifically, we were talking about her dad, who's in the Sea Organization, and how she was told for like 20 years that he was dead, only to find out that he was not, and her own experience in the Sea Organization, and which was horrific. I mean, go to her channel and she shares her story there. But if you find the video that we did together recently, you can really catch the whole thing. And I tell you this because if you're not familiar with her, get familiar. And it's a lot for her. And I mean, really, I think many people to go back to the place where so many of these things happened, and going back to Los Angeles and going back to the blue buildings and all of that. I've not been back since I left Scientology. Uh, when I broke up with Scientology, and then they tried to act like it was them by then kicking me out after I already left. I broke up with you. One of these days they will accept that. But that's how I got declared a suppressive person. And I'm here with you now. I'm here with you now. But I'm going to bring Liz up, everybody. Thank you to my mods in the chat. Dip Me and Glitters here. Nancy, I don't think my Tony's here. Thank you so much. And everybody, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and go find Liz Ferris too if you're not already, and subscribe over there, because I'm telling you, there's going to be so much going on, and she's going to be there right in the middle of the action. So welcome to the main stage, Liz Ferris.
And a round of applause.
Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray.
You don't have to work all day. That's my favorite line out of all of that.
Well, so great to have you here once again.
I know, and I always love your I broke up with you.
I know. Obviously, I'm butthurt about it.
Like, we need to make sure that everybody knows you were the one that did the breaking up.
Yeah, make sure understand that, Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so often the case because they do. Well, what I now know, which I had never heard of Darvo before. That whole defend, and you switch, like, I'm totally going to get it wrong, people, but you switch like the victim and the attacker, and
the attacker becomes the victim, and the victim is somehow the attacker.
Yeah. Which I guess in that specific situation, is it me fighting to say that I'm the attacker?
Well, we're becoming. I guess we're becoming in what they've done to us. We're becoming the attacker. We're becoming their worst nightmare.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of did Darvo Scientology then in that situation.
Did you get a chance to watch Pearl Snappy? I know we were texting earlier. Did you get a chance to watch her?
Not today's. I had gotten home and I had gotten the time wrong on when you and I were getting together. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I just have 45 minutes all of a sudden. And I was catching up, but I hadn't gotten to her yet.
I was on her live on my lunch. It was amazing. And I love how Scientology said there's no RPF anymore, but those were some familiar black outfits.
Really?
Those were some very familiar black outfits and black shoes.
Were there armbands though? Were there armbands?
There was no armbands.
Yeah.
There was no armbands, but it was black shirt, black jeans, and black shoes. And so I was kind of like,
is it possible though? Let me play devil's advocate. What if they were musicians?
Maybe all 20 of them that were building the stage for David, the world's shortest cult leader.
Were they running?
They were hustling. They were hustling. Were they running? I didn't see any running. I did
Because on
see a
the
lot of
RPF, you
building.
gotta run.
Yeah, but not when you're building stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You just got to work, let's go, let's go, let's go. And my kids don't like it. Just so you know, in the real world, people don't like it when you're like, come on, let's go, let's go. Why isn't your room clean? Let's go. Yeah, yeah, kids don't
Who
like
knew?
that.
No, they don't. They don't. They didn't quite understand that. You know,
Mm.
we could probably have a whole conversation too just about the parenting of being as an especially as someone growing up in Scientology and then having been in the Sea organization, and then we go and we raise these kids.
That man, when I was your age, I was already working in the Sea Org.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't want to white glove your room? No, my kids don't know what white glove means. But, I've thrown it out there like, I'm gonna need you to white glove your room.
Yeah,
And
that's
then I
right.
get the what is that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, I've done
exactly.
good if you don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's right. Then I'm parenting win over here.
Right? And there's no ammonia in this house. Like anywhere. I will never ever have ammonia in my house.
That's right, because they cleaned with a lot of ammonia, right?
Hmm. And then if I got in trouble, I would be sat in the bathroom that just got cleaned with ammonia.
Oh my gosh.
So no, I can't stand the smell of it.
Oh. So tell me this. We talked a little bit right before we get started. I shared, just a nutshell of your story, but I think a lot of people who are here are probably familiar. You're going back to Los Angeles
Hmm.
to go with the protest. It's you
Yes, to go
leaving
with the protest. Well, it's
tomorrow.
actually because they like to sit there and say that we're, either a cult or a gang. I've never been in a gang in my life. Like like, um, but at the same time, we're going down there as a group of friends and family.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it. When my mom asks me, and my mom does ask, she'll be like, why are you trying to get your dad out? Well, because I want to. How about that? Because
Yeah.
I want to. He wants out. And so, you know what? Let's get him out. Well,
Mhm.
he wasn't a good dad. Well, you weren't a good mom, so we're tied. But she'll ask me why we're going to LA all the time. And, you know, it just doesn't quite sink in for her until I explain what's going on. Like right now, the the two different sides, like if we're like there's not supposed to be two different sides, but when I try to explain, there's the second gems, and third and fourth and fifth that are like us. You're a generationer,
Mhm.
you know and then you have the originals, which again, nobody wants to go anywhere. Like, I want them to continue speaking and do what they do, just with accountability. I'll take accountability, you take accountability. Well, all it's kind of like Oprah. You
Mhm.
get accountability, you get accountability, you get accountability, and then you get a car. No, I'm just you just get to feel better.
Yeah. It is very much a as each generation goes by, I think especially when we leave and you start raising kids outside of Scientology, I had raised mine partly in it. Well, for most of their childhood, actually. And the conversations that we have now and the things we can laugh about. But I think that even outside of Scientology, sometimes being a certain way as a parent, and then the further you get into it, you realize like, okay, I probably don't need to be that militant, or maybe it's just a me thing. I
No,
was
I'm gonna
just
go
like,
with you don't need to be that militant, because you know what? That is totally, if you could ask Carrie right now, she would be like, yeah, you're a little rough.
yeah.
Because I'm not the disciplinarian. She's the disciplinarian, but I'm the
Mhm.
person that's like, come on, dude, your room it's like there is a foul smelling substance coming from your room, and I'm gonna need you to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, shower.
That's good parenting. That's good parenting,
But
though.
I'm like, ooh, you smell like a garbage can. I don't know, and it's funny because it cracks me up now. But when I was in the Sea Org, I remember people that did not like wearing deodorant.
Yeah, that's right, and nothing scented in the Sea organization. You
No,
can't wear anything with a scent to it. So there was no covering up an odor if there was one, and you're right.
correct. It was
There were
just,
people who
it was
didn't like
suck it
to
up and
shower.
take it. And if they outranked you, you just get there. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm just
Why am
gonna
I
breathe
turning
from my
green?
mouth.
Pretty much.
Completely. So how are you feeling about going tomorrow?
Well, as we've talked about a few times, I am nervous. Like, there's so much of me that's like, am I going to get to see my dad? Is he going to come? Am I going to get to finally have a communication with him?
Yeah,
Um, Nora's been helping me like prep beyond measure because it's like when I get when it comes to my dad and I get emotional, it feels like I turn into that kid again.
yeah,
That kid that lost their father at 24 and all of a sudden I'm like a blubbering I'm a big ball of tears and like literally just I'm gonna cry.
yeah,
So Nora's been practicing with me because she can look at things from the outside when I'm wrapped up in it. I got the feels.
yeah,
And so I'm nervous. I'm
yeah,
nervous that the cops are gonna continue doing what they do and someone's gonna end up getting hurt.
mhm. And you're going with Nora's going and your wife's going as well, right?
Yes, my wife is going. Um, Oh no, Nora is going. So that is the amazing Nora, as everybody knows.
Mhm.
Um, then we've got Liz, Gail,
Yep,
which again, an amazing, amazing person.
yep,
Like, and then you have Alicia. In case you didn't know about Alicia, like from Degraded Daughter, she's like the kindest soul you'll ever talk to. Like she just makes you. It's like these women just make you feel like a hug.
yeah,
Like you're safe. You can talk to them about anything. And it's like it's refreshing for a lack as my therapist put it, it's refreshing because we did not have that growing up.
mhm.
And so now we're getting to finally experience it for the first time.
Yeah, experience it and have it nurtured too within ourselves, the more further I got away from Scientology, the more that I was able to interact with, make friends outside of Scientology. Was such a different situation, and it was the relationships and the dynamics of it all were so different that and honestly, in different ways. In some ways, I would get confused and it felt worse. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there seems to be more drama." But that's only because in the sea organization, we weren't allowed to say anything
Or if
or
we did
feel
say
anything.
something, we were in lower conditions faster than you could blink.
Exactly. We were punished so hard. So for a long time, I didn't understand some of the way that just normal, regular, friendship, friend group drama, which there is, and that's just human nature. I didn't understand like why are people doing these things, and but then in time I realized and it really didn't change well, then I started doing that a ton, but I realized at least it's the emotion and it's the realness of it. They're allowed and free to experience. They have the what consider to be almost the luxury to respond that way because we never got to stand up for ourselves. We never got to talk back. We never got to, disobey an order. I mean, some did, but they get in so much trouble. It was so
Yeah,
discouraged, and then I realized, I'm like, "Okay, there is some drama here, and, these people are, getting along and then not getting along," but I'm like, "They get to." They get
that's
to,
right.
and
They
I
do,
can
and they look at us like so if you have a conversation with someone that grew up outside of Scientology about some of the things that you experienced as a kid,
yeah.
they look at you like, um, and where were the police? Um,
Yeah,
they didn't and I know you're seeing I know a lot of people wonder, like, because we tell them, when we grew up, you were not allowed to call the police. Well,
yeah,
for some reason, Scientology is calling the police like nobody's business. Like it's like how most people change their underwear is
yeah,
how Scientology is using the police right now.
exactly,
And
exactly.
so, but when we were kids, no, there was no calling the police. They were bad guys.
Yeah, yeah,
They
exactly.
were they were worse than a wog,
There
and I'm
was no
sorry
doing
for
this
that
right.
word. I do understand the meaning of it now, but we had always, growing up, that was a word that was used to deem anybody outside of
Yeah,
Scientology. and it is a horrible word, and I do apologize. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. I just wanted to use an analogy.
Coming over here throwing your slurs around, Liz.
Right? Oh, it's a
But to your
great
point,
day to not be in a cult.
yes, to your point though, it's just it is a beautiful thing, these different, people being able to share their emotions and have opinions, right? Because that was the biggest thing. The only opinion that we could have was the one that aligned with L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology. And
Yep.
you had an opinion that was different, then you were getting reprogramming, which we didn't know was reprogramming. You would just, obviously, if you don't agree with Scientology, it's because you have misunderstood words, or you're committing crimes against Scientology, or you have these evil
Evil
intentions.
intentions. Yeah.
And it's just you leave and then you get around, the normies, right? And you realize
Yep.
like, wow, look at this. And it took me, like I said, a long time to realize these are just opinions. People get to express their opinions. They don't need to agree. Everybody does not need to agree. And sometimes it is the most beautiful thing when they don't agree, because out of that comes something new. You can
Yes.
create something new when you have, if you don't like this and you don't like this, then make something new, make something different. And that's what I think that we're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's what everybody's really trying to do, even nothing to do with Scientology.
Yeah.
I think
Like I'm, I have to do, I mean, if I do anything again, it's like the first thing I do when I get around streets, I just want to give them a hug. And
yeah.
I'm not a hugger. Like I'm not. I have that whole like just give me a second to warm my bubble up
Yeah.
and then we hug. You
Yeah.
know, but I do because he gave us a new outlet, a new way to, because again, those of us that grew up in Scientology, we're not a lot of people I'm coming to understand are not huge on the electronics, you
You mean
know.
gadgets?
Yeah, the gadgets and gizmos, like I go for the easiest phone, like quit throwing new high-tech stuff at me that my kid makes me feel stupid in like 5 seconds because they just look and they're like, oh, I'm just like,
Mm,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, kids, they're growing up with it. They're growing up with it, which I think definitely helps. But I know because I didn't go into the Sea organization, or I joined staff when I was like 15. So I had gone through, what would that be, like 10th grade in high school, right when
Hmm.
back in my day, that is just when like programming, there were some coding classes that the boys could do. It was a little while after that, then the girls were, it was being introduced to them as well. Nothing to the level that it is today, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
But
my kid took coding in middle school. I'm like, and then getting that phone call that he's somehow destroyed every single computer in the computer room because he hacked the whole thing.
oh
I'm
wow.
like, well, can you take this on a payment plan? Like, this is what you get for teaching kids how to do this.
Yeah, yeah, they get really good at it, really good. So you're not as much up on the technology, like you said, you want the simpler phone, like
I'm not. I for some reason, like I can get a book, I can read any novel, and then I get it. I grasp the whole story. Mice and Men is still my favorite book.
mhm,
Um, Kill a Mockingbird, right up there with them. Like I love books, but for some reason when it comes to gadgets, I'm a little in the not as bad as my mom, but
yeah.
I'm still there, guys.
I
Still
love
there.
I love the gadget. My Tony's more old school. Like, I love smart lights and being able to go and on my phone and program them to be different and different colors and all that, and I can have the setting in the bedroom that I like, and because 'cause I'm all about creating the ecosystem, and if I really need to chill, then I just can hit a thing and they change in the living room. And, that's all fine and dandy as long as your internet is working, and this had gone on for some time, and I loved it, and Tony would he liked the ambiance, but he didn't like that you couldn't just go flip a switch, and
Or
then
clap.
yeah, or clap, and the Wi-Fi went down, and I was like, in the dark, because it was, like, getting dark, so I hadn't turned the lights on yet, and for it took me a little while to realize how I could turn them on because I was like, "How do I turn them on?" The app's not working, and now
I've
I'm
gotta tell Alexa how to turn off my TV. Like, I'm like, "Alexa, turn off the TV," because the remote, I can't find it 90% of the time.
mm.
And so I'm like, "Alexa, turn on the TV." "Okay, whatever channel you're on, that's the channel I'm meant to watch." Oh, oh, good. It's Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
Sorry, I total give me a second. Alexa, stop.
See, she's totally listening. She's totally listening.
This
You
is how I have James Bond here,
you
like,
offended her with the W word. You offended her. I get them confused. I'm yelling at my phone. I'm yelling Alexa at my phone. I'm yelling Siri at Alexa. And then I get in my car and I don't even know what to say. But if I start talking, somebody responds, one of them. But
one
I
of them.
love
But
it.
don't cuss, because I did have my, Alexa tell me that was rude.
Oh,
Like,
really?
that was very rude.
Well, I've not really been swearing at my Alexa, but apparently it's a thing, huh?
Yep. Horrible words. Horrible words. Like
You're
I'm
a
telling you. Should have
you're a
should have come up with like a Morse code tapping.
yeah, your Alexa is full of all kinds of backflash. And no, is that the word? Is that
Backlash.
backla no, no, in the Sierra, you couldn't backflash a senior. Wasn't it called backflash? Oh my gosh, it's
I
been
thought
so
it
long.
do we isn't Lou's in the chat. Is it backflash or backlash?
When you couldn't talk back, when it was a violation of Flag Order 38 and it was you backflash, you couldn't backflash.
I could have sworn it was back.
Backflash, Blow Drill's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's saying
All
backflash.
right. My bad. I really thought, you know how many times I've been using backlash
Well,
throughout
no,
my
no,
whole
in the
life?
real world, outside of the cult, it's backlash. Like you have a like there's a backlash, but in the C organization, you weren't allowed, and I think backlash was specific to Scientology. So if your senior gave you an order and you either asked a stupid question or outright was like, "Nah, I don't think so today," then it was like knock off the backflash.
Yeah. I got the don't see with working with an LRH com,
Mhm.
I got the are you really talking like that to me? Like did you wake up and feel like you were just gonna go to lower conditions right away? I'm
Yeah, you
like
just wanted to kick it off there.
I'm like, "Well, sorry for saying good morning." Like, I think I called her boss. I think it was literally, "Good morning, boss."
Mhm.
Literally, I think that's what it was,
Yeah,
is
you
it was
wouldn't be
"Good
allowed.
morning, boss," and not "sir."
Wouldn't be you would not be allowed. You would not be allowed to do that. And that's why I love so much making fun of it and laughing at it and talking about it and joking about it because we were never allowed to do that. And doing so is just, I think it's just the most fun thing in the
Cathartic.
world. Yeah, maybe. And it's if you think about it, not being able to talk back, not being able to refuse, there's like you never get to rebel. There's no pushing back on it, rebelling. And that is what I think I love so much about these protests. And in the beginning, Liz, and I think you and I even chatted about this, in the beginning, I was struggling with the yelling because it was kind of triggering. But then I really started seeing it differently and realizing that people get into Scientology many different ways, and everybody's got a different kind of vibe. And they're going to leave Scientology in different ways, and everybody still has a different kind of vibe. And sometimes that's what it takes to impinge upon somebody. And if not necessarily for them, because they may or may not leave. But look at, Tori Magoo. She used to go out there and handle the protesters and handle the critics. And then she became one.
Yeah, and that's, the best part about that is everybody's waking up,
Yeah.
but they're waking up on their own time, like, nobody's having to be, like, shook, like, although I do wanna do that to my dad, like, "Come on.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hurt an old man, but I just need you to wake up."
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, it I will say talking about it, talking on YouTube, talking to my therapist, talking to Carrie, talking to Nora, it has helped me so tremendously be able to actually process a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff that I did, and made it so much easier to be like, you know what? When I was the EPFIC, I screamed at you guys a lot. I called you horrible names. And you know what? I am truly sorry, because now my message is no bullying. If there's any kind of bullying, it can go.
I laugh because I'm like, I don't know that like, I don't even think I knew what the word bullying was until, like, way later.
Yeah,
Really
way out of
understand it.
Scientology.
Yeah, because especially in the SEAL organization, that's pretty much all that happens is you're bullied. You're either being
Mhm.
bullied or you're bullying someone. There
And
there
if you're
are
not bullying someone, you're being yelled at for not
for
being more
not bullying
assertive.
them. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I would get in trouble for that all the time because I just was a horrible bully.
I was good at bullying, and I hate that. Like, I hate that I can say that, but if someone gave me an order because of watching my mom, like, I would literally just kind of like revert into my mom
Mhm.
and be like, I know you, like, screaming to the
Yeah.
point like I had veins popping out of my neck. And I was good at it. And then it wasn't until someone started crying when I was doing that that I really started to like reevaluate what I was actually doing, because nobody'd ever cried.
Yeah.
And then when you get to a human being and you get them to cry, it's a gut-wrenching feeling knowing that you're the one that just did that.
Yeah. Did you let up then more after that on your
I
job?
did. I started being a little easier on people, like not being like, if they were late for muster, I was like, look, it's your first warning. If you continue it, we're gonna have to talk about next steps.
Yeah.
It would take them like 3 times being late for muster before I even raised my voice,
Mhm.
because I didn't wanna see someone cry again,
Yeah.
and then I was getting in trouble for allowing 3 times, and then I was getting in trouble for not making morning muster 10,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
there was no happy in between.
Yeah.
Not with the LRH comm. She was like, this is one way it's supposed to be."
Yeah, and your job specifically, and for people who don't know, Liz was in charge of the Estate Project Force, which is basically boot camp for Sea Org members,
Yep.
and that is a job where, I mean, you're gonna get chewed up and spit out if you don't do it. It's very militaristic in that way. I guess I was fortunate in ways to never really be in charge of that many people, and just I don't know. I don't know.
I
I
think
it
the
just
most
taught
I
me
ever had was like 15. Like, that was the most people, because everybody that was considered under me
yeah.
was literally on the EPF.
Mhm.
And again, a states project force, because I keep using our old lingo,
Yeah.
because Scientology is still my first language.
Mhm.
Um, then if I would also get in trouble, like if I try to make friends with someone still at Celebrity Center or still at the Manor,
Yeah.
but in a different division, I
Mhm.
would get in trouble for associating with a minor or with someone below me
Yeah.
and not making them continuously call me sir when I was just looking for a friend.
Yeah.
Like, there was no off the clock people. This was,
No, all the time. Yeah,
yeah.
all the time. Marilyn Honig, thank you so much. Hi, Natalie. Love your content. You're part of my morning routine. Yes. Liz, love you lots. Give them hell in LA. Please be careful. Be aware of your surroundings. Text me when you can. Okay. I'm done nagging. Sounds just like a mama bear.
Right? She's literally the SPTV mama bear.
Absolutely. 100%. I love this too, Sasha. Hashtag free Bob Ferris. Hi, Liz. You go, girl.
Every time I see Sasha, it's still because I grew up with Sasha Obolensky. He was my first boyfriend. Like,
Mhm.
literally, he was the first boy I ever kissed. And so every time I see her name, I'm just like, man, I I love that your name is Sasha. So thank you so
Mhm.
much for commenting. I'm just gonna say every time.
Amy the Napping Warrior is asking, how old is your dad?
73.
Is he with the seniors, the senior SO?
No, because he's at the original base in Hemet, which is still, golden era. It's just not the production. Production got moved. So there's still like groundskeeping and things like that.
Yeah,
I was told they possibly turned it into like a senior center.
yeah,
But there's still some old people where you can tell they're in their 60s, maybe 70s, that are absolutely doing the yard work and cleaning everything. So I don't think he went to like a senior living center.
yeah.
And some people want to say that Golden Era was a paradise. And for that, I say, shame on you.
Mhm. Definitely. So you're going to when you go, you said it's going to be you, Ononora, your wife, Liz Gale will be there. You'll have a
Mhm.
lot of support.
Yep. We've also got the AA Ron announced that he is coming.
That's right. And Laura FM's already there, and DOA is there, and Mindy, and then everybody else who's been protesting. Is there any part of it that you're excited about or looking forward to?
The hug. Like
Mm,
literally getting a hug from everyone. Like I'm excited to actually get one because they're like family and be face to face with them.
yeah.
But I'm nervous that my anxiety is gonna be like, "Mm, don't touch me." Like that's my fear.
Well.
I'm gonna be like, hug me anyway. Just hug me anyway.
Yeah,
But that's all we
definitely.
can basically do.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to have a meal, to break bread, to just be in the same area. That's why I think you should just hop on a red eye.
I'm gonna be here streaming and covering it, especially Austin too, because that's going on, but there will be a time where I will go. I wanna go to Clearwater, and I wanna go back to Los Angeles because, like I said, I have not been back on L. Ron Hubbard Way since I was there to get my daughter, which
Yeah,
was
I have not been like I've driven L. Ron Hubbard Way, and it's like this kind. It's like that. Um, but I've actually not set foot on Hubbard Way. Like
Oh, really? I thought you went back.
I did with the car.
You went to the Gold Base and you drove down the street, but you didn't, like, feet on the
Yeah.
ground.
Nope.
Yeah,
I drove through, pointed, let Carrie know, hey, that's AWOLA, that's ASHO. You
yeah,
know, this is where the birthings are that they're pretending aren't militaristic.
yeah.
Um, and pinpointed that. The only one I actually set foot on was Celebrity Center.
Yeah, which is that the la and that's the last place that you had worked?
That was the only place.
Yeah,
That was the only place I was ever post. Well, I was Manor for a little bit and then Celebrity Center, but they're the same.
yeah. I figure here's what I imagine when I imagine going back to L. Ron Hubbard Way, and it's all you guys have seen it now, it's the brick and all that, right? And hardly anyone is ever on the road. When I picture myself going back, I picture myself going down the middle of L. Ron Hubbard Way, maybe skipping, and then a flash mob breaks out.
Um, Someone gave me like a great advice for when we go to for going to Hubbard Way.
Flash mob.
Um, no, someone said take a picture like the Beatles cover with all of you guys walking down
Oh.
Hubbard Way.
Oh,
I
that's a
was
great
like,
idea.
that's pretty good.
That's a
That's
great
that's a
idea.
good picture.
That is a great idea. I love that. That is almost better than my flash mob idea.
It just because it's like right out of the Beatles, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. You gotta make sure you have that picture handy so that you can reenact it.
Right? It's
Yeah.
gonna be my phone screen. No, because I like Carrie on my phone screen. It'll be
Mm,
my sleep screen.
yeah. Oh, that's such a great idea. That'll be fun. So you'll actually go well, because probably at some point you might be protesting there at the Blue Buildings.
Mhm.
And with your people, you're gonna have a lot of support while you're there. You're gonna be surrounded by love.
Yes. And you know what? I will honestly say, from a person that didn't feel I was lovable, um, this community, this group of friends and family, because I'm not one for subscribers. I'm definitely one for it's a community
Mhm.
because I like to talk to everybody. I like
Yeah.
to, if people have questions, I like to get to know them.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Good thing.
it it's expanding the family
Yeah.
more than just our 4 people.
Yeah, I totally get that. Free Zunu Project says, Liz, while you're down there, you should get a petition together to have L. Ron Hubbard Way changed to Xenu Way.
I was thinking Cult Way.
Colt Way. And says, Liz, please do that. You all can own that damn street and building, sending strong vibes to you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the super chats, Anne.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so
Yes.
true. That I think will be I know that's something that I look forward to when I do one day go and do that, is really just being there just as me and experiencing it, and just without any of the, you know, everything that went with it before, just having it be a my own experience. Jersey, thank you so much. I am going to audit outside New York, NYC org, but there is also, oh yeah, New York CC,
Mhm.
which would be more active. Ooh, what do you think, Liz? You were a CC person.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with the New York City org.
Yeah,
Because honestly, the celebrity center is like in the midst of like public walking area, and people don't really go there. Like,
yeah. But the
man, I went to New
main
York and I saw it from a distance and I was just like, that's not so pretty.
and the main org though isn't it right off, it's like a block, isn't it a block or two off Times Square?
Let me find out because I don't know where the other one is. I know where Celebrity Center was.
I'd never been to the Celebrity Center in New York, but I've been to the
CC
regular.
Nashville is actually, that one was kind of nice.
Ah,
CC Vegas,
yeah.
not so much. You know, CC Portland, Oregon. That one had a giant fish on it for the longest time.
Really? I didn't even know that there was a CC in Portland. How do they
Yeah.
determine where they put a celebrity center? It seemed to
I'm
me
thinking
like
they're trying in
kind of
like
spoon.
major cities.
Yeah.
Like they're
But
they're literally
Portland,
mhm.
I mean, Portland's a
And
major city, but
but why not Seattle?
yeah, I would have thought Seattle over Portland. No offense to anybody. Liz Gale. You know, she's the true Oregonian. She's who we should be asking.
Right?
Mhm.
Be like, she knows that she knows the area, she knows all of that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, she really does. But as far as, but Jersey Janet, I mean, I say try both and see, because the other thing is, you know, we've both been like out of Scientology for some time. We're not being, oh, actually, well, me longer, you not as long.
Yeah, I'm like,
And
3
you
years
probably
isn't
booked
that
down.
long, but okay.
Yeah.
I'll take an okay. I'm like, whoop whoop, 3 years? It's like my anniversary, guys.
That's
Oh,
right.
got
That's
to treat
right.
myself to dinner and a movie.
Yes. But I say check them both out. And I'd love to hear. So Jersey Janet, if you do that, please do, you know, shoot me a link to your video to Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. I'd love to see it, maybe share it, see how it goes. Megan has a question for Liz. Do you have Pokemon Go Plus? I'm a Pokemon Go nerd.
I am not a Pokemon Go nerd. I have so many people ask me, um, but I am the collector. Like I am a huge collector.
Yeah.
Only because I want to nerd out for a second with her.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Him, them. We'll just say them. So I got, let's see if it's gonna do it. I pulled this Japanese card the other day
Ooh.
and I literally about cried. Like
When you say you
literally
pulled
about
it,
cried.
where do you pull it
So
from?
so they come in,
Packs, right?
yeah, they come in a pack, but for that particular box, it's a Japanese box.
Yeah,
Comes in this small one, and then it has 10 other packs in there.
sure.
And so you just have to hope that one of the ones that you pull has a gold.
Yeah. When they first
Then
came
yes.
out, my son, we collected them. In fact, so I had a lot. I had an you would really have loved my collection. And funny story, so this was probably like, let's see, 12 years ago, I think. And my son just wasn't into it. I was more into it, but I was like, okay, I don't know. I was trying to like just, you know, get rid of things too. I sold them.
Someone told me they threw them away. I was literally on a live and they were like, I'm just going to throw them away. And I'm like, but do you not see that they're valuable?
Yeah. Mhm. I had
Valuable.
the books. This was such a long time ago, but, yeah. And funny thing, actually, I sold them to Mark Headley.
I did not know he does the Pokemon thing.
Well, his kids. It was for his kids at the time.
Okay.
This was probably about 12 years ago, because my son's now 25, so, yeah, he was getting to where he was like, "Mom, I'm just not into that," but I was like, I was into it. I had the books and the thing, and then I'm like, "Okay, even I'm not into it," and, like I said, needed to downsize, and I think I put something on Facebook about it, and Mark saw it, and I shipped him off, and he sent me money, and I wonder if they still have them, because these were some of the this was a long time ago.
Yeah, I can 12 years ago. That's a long time. That's X and Y era. That is money.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Now I
letting
kinda
you
wish
know.
I'd have kept it. Dang, dang.
Yes,
I
because
wonder if they still
I
have it.
have one X and Y card, just one. And it is from Evolutions.
Mhm.
And that card it's PSA 10. So it's like it's so pretty. Um,
Nice.
that one is worth 350 bucks.
Wow. Oh,
And
dang.
that is one of the smaller ones.
Wow, they're definitely worth money then, because I had
Yeah.
some good ones. I had some good ones at that time, and they're only would have gotten more valuable.
Yeah. See, any X and Y, I'm like, don't throw them away. Like, at least if you're going to get rid of them, like, offer them up to a Pokemon player, like, offer them up to anybody. Like,
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
hey, FYI, like,
No, I think I had, like,
that and I get a childhood back.
2 whole books of them. Fully baked potato, yes, this morning, in fact, I gave you a shout out. I got it right here, and it's been calming me because things have been crazy. I got this Coven Curiosities candle company. We were talking candles earlier because I was, like, getting into making candles, but I sucked at it. But I love candles, but I suck at making them. This girl knows what she's doing. So it's right here by the computer, and I light it in the morning, and I even lit it last night when I was stressing out about DOA getting out of jail. So thank you very much for that, and Tony loves his too. She even sent one for Tony. It was super sweet, but I
I
loved
will
it.
honestly say, like, yeah, the love from this community is like it. Sorry, my dog is it wants to have a communication with us. But it's like the fact that people have not only taken me in as family, but they've also taken my family is monumental.
Mhm.
Made us feel loved. And that's thank you.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. That's what I mean about, like, the beauty of being surrounded by people who've never been in Scientology, after being surrounded only by people in Scientology, to being surrounded by people never in Scientology and realizing, like, it's like getting to it's The Wizard of Oz, the good part where everything's in color.
True. When everything suddenly turns and you see the ruby slippers.
Yeah, exactly. That is completely how I have felt through this, like Dorothy, and really realizing we could have always gone home. We could have always left, but you didn't know until you met the Munchkins and everybody along the way, and they cheered you on and they helped you understand. Kind of works.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so here's a question for you because I'm curious. So you
Sure.
left, you had like a lot of years in Scientology.
Yeah.
So you left. How easy was it for you to make a friend? Like think about it, your first friend
Outside of Scientology,
outside of Scientology. So you've already left Scientology. How easy was it for you?
it wasn't I didn't have a ton of them, not right away. Well, you know what? I take that back. I take that back.
You were
Um
popular, weren't you?
Yeah, I made friends fast. But was probably more what probably made it work is that I didn't realize how ridiculous I was. Like, I didn't realize that a lot of what I would share and talk about when I talk about my past, because I wouldn't talk about it. I mean, sometimes it would, I would get serious about it, but other times I would just kind of blurt something out that happened that was very matter of fact, because I hadn't yet understood that what happened was abusive or not okay or inappropriate. And then they would react in a way that was so shocked, but never judging me. It was the appropriate response to what they were hearing that happened. And that helped me understand, after enough times of that happening, like, oh, okay. So what I'm hearing is that's weird, or that's not common. That's not,
Not
quote,
normal.
normal.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
got
know.
I had the hardest time. Like the first person that they were like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, Scientology, you know? And they would just go like, "What's that?" And I was like, "The study of knowledge." And you wondered why. I was like, "Man, didn't quite understand why at 9 years old I couldn't make friends." Hmm.
Mm,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna go with the culty Culterson.
yeah.
Um, so then it was once I realized that I couldn't make a friend if they knew about Scientology, I just stopped. Like I was
Oh,
like,
wow, yeah,
I stopped trying to share my life with people. Like
yeah,
my life would basically start from leaving the Sea Org.
yeah,
And before then did not matter. Like that was my cutoff.
yeah, yeah,
Because you start to for me, it's like I always felt like a freak. And I know it's because certain people made me feel like I was one. Um, but now I'm finding it normal.
yeah,
Like what is, there's no definition of normal.
yeah,
So what's normal for you is may not be normal for me or
yeah,
for anyone else. And so I was always curious, like how did people make friends?
yeah. And then you come to learn, or at least I came to learn too, that the people that I thought, like, oh, they're so normal, what I would identify as normal, and they're so together, but then I would get to know them or the family and realize that they had their struggles too. They had their, what I would call a cult, but not like a cult like Scientology, but a situation, a controlling atmosphere. Just like they had their own struggles, it was just different, but in ways it manifested in very similar ways. And then I would, because I would look at certain people and think, wow, they're just probably, like, their lives look so great and they seem so happy, and they were happy. People are happy, but people are also sometimes unhappy. But as I more got to know people, I realized I wasn't the only one who struggled with things. They were just better at showing it sometimes, or then when you got to know them and understand when you could be vulnerable with each other, that they were struggling about things too. And they felt, one of the very first good friends that I made, I remember something that for her was very, she felt that, or I think we're concerned that people might judge her by, is that her mother unalived herself. And I can't even imagine that pain like that as a child. But to carry that and have that throughout adulthood and be concerned about being judged for something she had nothing to do with. And the more I got to really know people and realize that they all have their struggle and their difficult situation. Okay, maybe everybody's mom didn't marry their grandpa like mine, but there's something. There's something.
Okay, you're gonna have to explain that to me because first up, before you explain it to me, my grandmother married her brother
Oh, really? Biological or by marriage?
by marriage, brother, but it's still
Yeah.
creepy because they grew up together.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get
And so then my grandma and my grandfather had my mom and my Aunt Cindy.
Ah, yes, yes, that would be kinda similar.
Yeah, when I first found that out, you know how hard it was to swallow? Like I'm like, they're not blood related. They grew up together. Like,
Still
I
weird.
don't care. When it gets to a point where that you grew up together, then you really look at them like your brother, like your sister. You don't even think about blood.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah.
it's still creepy, guys.
Yeah, it's
Just
totally
saying.
creepy, and there's a bond there. My mom was married to my first stepdad, who she married when I was 5, and that is who got us into Scientology. And she was married to him for about 7 years, and his dad was in Scientology and was like the so if you count my grandpa at the time, then, I'd actually be a 3rd generation Scientologist, but it's by marriage, so I usually start with my mom, who got in when I was 5. And my mom ended up divorcing my first stepdad and marrying his dad, who was also a Scientologist, who I would refer to as more like the cult leader of our family. And so that just like things just got weird. And it wasn't the weirdest thing to ever happen. So I was kind of like, all right, I know I don't like this, but
Right? Because when I heard that story, I'm all,
yeah,
it's
that was a
crazy.
hard one. That was a hard one to explain. And
Yeah, and
so
if you try to explain it to people, they instantly think that, oh, they must have been blood relatives. No, they weren't blood relatives. They
yeah, it was
had
actually
two
by marriage.
separate moms and dads.
Yeah.
Um,
But it doesn't always help, and then the fact that he was, so much older than my mom because he was old enough to be her dad, and it just, from there and from there, and interestingly, when I look back on my childhood, that is probably something that I was more, when it that and that with Scientology, because when I'm growing up, before I dropped out of school to work for Scientology, I went to regular schools, and I did have friends, but I kept that part of my life really separate. There's not much that we would talk about it. Plus, you're kids, you're not really. Why would you be talking about Scientology? But when I got into middle school and you start having to go to the org more and stuff like that, it once in a
yeah,
while
because you're
would
old enough to work there.
exactly. Once you're old enough to work there, it
Yeah.
would come up once in a while. But I had some pretty good friends where it just you know and it was Hawaii too. Growing up in Hawaii, there's so much more diversity. So
Everything's is it mahalo? No. Mahalo?
mahalo?
No.
Mahalo is like, "Thank you."
Yeah, and then
Oh,
ohana. That's
oh,
what it is.
ohana.
Everything is ohana,
Yeah, family.
like
Exactly.
everything.
Yeah.
And,
People are big on family.
I think I wanna get a ohana tattoo. Like, I'm serious. Like,
Yeah, my who has one? Either my sister has one or my daughter has one. No, my daughter does. Shelby has a tattoo that I think says Ohana.
hey, that's a good one because that was the one thing that I always loved is that everybody's like family, unless you're surfing. Because let me tell you,
Yeah, then stay
love
in
you to
your
death.
lane, man. Stay in your
But
lane.
North Shore is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like people are rude, they cut the line. Like there's no surf etiquette at all in North Shore. It's literally first come first serve. They will swoop in on you, they will hit your board. And then if you cut off someone like that is like big up in the surf community in that area, they will try to fight you.
Oh.
So Ohana only lasts for so long, and it's mute on on a surfboard.
Probably makes a difference where you're surfing too. Some spots I think are better than others. So I spent
Mhm,
the early years on the North Shore. My dad was a lifeguard at Waimea Bay. Did you ever go there on
mhm.
Oahu? He was there for, I mean, years and years and years. So when I would go visit him, we'd go hang out. So we spent most weekends, if he was working, hanging out there. And then my grandma lived on Cam Highway there, but over further down to what now is considered like, they call it Turtle Beach,
Oh, Turtle Bay.
Mauna Kea. Oh, not Turtle Bay, but I love Turtle Bay.
I am not a fan of Turtle Bay. I'm
Really?
not. I'm scared of turtles. Like, people tell me all the time, "You can get over your fear of turtles." No,
All turtles or
nor do
just
I
sea
want
turtles?
any turtle. Like, I don't care
Really?
how big it is, I will cry. Like, I am not a turtle fan. I got bit by
Really?
one when I was a kid, and let me tell you, that puts some memory
Oh,
on
yeah,
you.
well, sea turtles aren't gonna bite you.
It doesn't matter. There's thousands of turtles heading my way. Nope. Like,
And they're just
you're
so
gonna see this
beautiful.
person learn how to fly real quick,
I
and it'll
don't
look
like
like I'm flying out of the water.
I'm not a big fan necessarily of turtles outside of the water, but I really do like sea turtles. Honu, they're called in Hawaii. So tell me more about I'm dying to talk to Nora because I love how she seems so prepared for this trip to go protesting. You know, she like I was watching her video the other day and she was going through some things from Amazon. It's like she got the backpack and just like all the things. And did I dream this or did she say headlamp? Maybe that was just
I don't know. She might have. Like, to be completely honest, like some of the stuff that she requests is like purely like safety, everything else. And then all of a sudden I was like, what, what what is on your wish list?
yeah.
And then, I realized everything that was on her wish list basically set someone up for like a mobile protection area. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. Now I understand. Because before there was a lot of electronics and I'm like, I don't get it. And now this
Yeah.
goes for this, goes for this, goes for this, goes for this. And I'm like, never mind. I need to not worry because you've got security under
She got
control.
a first aid kit too.
Me too, just in case.
Oh yeah,
Because
you gotta have one.
I am okay. And okay, here's the part that cracks me up. Okay. And you may think this is weird. Because how badly abused I was growing up, I've got a very high pain threshold.
Oh yeah.
I also had, if need comes to it, like I've had stitches multiple times. I've also learned how to do the proper stitch. I've stitched up myself. Like I don't recommend it because the sutures don't always line up as much as you want them to when you're doing it to yourself with no
Yeah.
anesthesia. But I'm like, just in case, I put in the surgical line in case I needed to stitch myself up. We're gonna
Ah,
hope for not.
yeah, see, that's being prepared. You had the first aid kit. It was
Hmm.
Girl Snappy who had the headlamp, but I feel like I would because I was thinking too, after especially after watching Oh No Nora and how she was preparing to go on this trip with you and go protest.
Yeah, made me
I
feel
thought,
like I'm underprepared.
yeah, where's your backpack? You need one of
Right?
those Dora
No,
the Explorer backpacks. Yep, see? So what I would add, I was thinking, what would I take if I was going? I would definitely feel like I would want a headlamp because it gets dark. And I would want some glow sticks just to make sure people in cars could see me in that dark.
there's a part of me that wishes that I had gotten a helmet, like because I don't want to lose my motorcycle helmet. Um, but had got ordered like a cheapy motorcycle helmet so that I could put GoPro all around it. And so that way there's no problems. Like
Mhm.
I've got my front, my side, my back, like my
And just
toes
just have
covered.
different cameras on there just catching. Maybe there's a way to have a hat where there could be some kinda like swivel that goes around and then the camera can just go around. Just or do like a
Yeah,
constant
just a
360 kind
constant
of a thing.
swivel.
Yeah, and then we
A
could
constant swivel.
live stream it. That might be dizzy making though, but
Right? That's why we got the gimbal because so when I did the
the
protest
shaky gimbal.
in the protest at Celebrity Center, I was holding the phone and I'm like, Michael and Serge have body cams. Me too.
That's
I
cool.
just have to figure a different place to put it because originally where I put it was on a shelf, and so it there's you're gonna get motion sickness if you saw any of it because on a woman's body, if you don't know, when she wiggles, they wiggle too.
They have for the GoPro those things you can wear over your chest, and then
Yeah, for
you
the
put them on
GoPro. Yeah, that's why I want to do the GoPro because it's like just goes right across your chest. But I got to figure out how to figure yeah, GoPro maybe above my pay grade, as I just learned. Had to call and ask someone what that meant.
what GoPro meant?
Above my pay grade
Oh.
because someone told me above my pay grade the other day, or a couple days ago actually, and I literally was like, above my pay grade. So does that mean that you're grading your pay? Like I was over analyzing the whole word, and then finally I called Nora and I was like, I just got to ask, what does above my pay grade mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, this is what it means. And I was like, oh, thank God. You didn't make me feel dumb. And she didn't.
Little Miss Sunny says, "I think Hellcat was doing something with a 360 cam on a hat." Oh, that would be so cool. I feel like it would be a little bit, like I said, might be hard with the motion sickness. I mean, I can't even watch video games, not the new, regular, well, any Xbox video game. I got one of those, what's it called? The thing you put on your head that and then you're in it, the
Oh,
goggle.
the virtual reality?
Yes,
The
yes,
VR? Okay.
VR goggles, VR whatever it is. Tony and I got these because this was like when we were like just starting like his cancer treatment and stuff, and we weren't going to be able to like, we weren't going to be running around going in tons of places. And I thought, well, what if he could, put those off and then like put those on and then be on the moon or be out in space, and how great that and cool that would be. And it really was, except it kept triggering vertigo for me. So I go into the doctor not realizing, that it was connected to the VR goggles. I think they're called VR goggles. Goggles is weird because they're kind of
Oculus.
big.
Someone put it in the chat. It says Oculus.
Oculus, yes, the Oculus.
Yeah,
It's the
because my kid
Oculus.
had to have that too.
Yes. And I
What?
go in, I end up in urgent care because like my vertigo, which I've had before, was just really bad. And he's like, "Well, have you been under any stress?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, that's like constant. That's not different." And then he's talking about like I brought up the how I've been actually being more chill because I've been using the Oculus and I like to go up in the space station and all these other things. And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." Did this start when you started using the Oculus? And I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, I guess so." I kinda didn't really think about that because when I'm in there, it feels a little weird, but I don't feel the vertigo like I would when I would take it off. And he said, "There are for some people, they're like, you just can't do that." And I'm like, "Man, that is such a bummer." So I gave it to my
Because you
daughter.
liked it. Yeah.
I did. I really liked it. I wasn't even playing games. I was just mainly except there was like a guitar one, I think. There was a
There was a
guitar
shooting
one.
game that he has. I tried it.
Yeah.
The shooting ones. You have to dive out of the way. Yeah, tell me why my whole body jumped.
Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't play that. No, I
No.
love I love zombie movies, but I couldn't play the zombie. They were just too gross. So I would just you gotta just do the music ones where you're like, oh god, how did it
Oh,
work?
the
This
with the
thing on.
lightsaber.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. I was so bummed out that I actually couldn't play it and couldn't do it anymore because of the stupid vertigo. I'm like, "Is there another way?" Like, 'cause, so he's like, "No, probably more likely not." I mean, maybe they'll come up with technology that for people who have, and I don't know if it's everybody with vertigo. If you're in the chat and you have had or have vertigo, have you used an Oculus or 3D type of goggles, and did it, trigger your vertigo? Try it with one eye. Ooh, you might find inner ear therapy for equilibrium. Yeah, you know what? Could very well be because sometimes too, it'll be like one ear. I mean, I still deal with some neurological issues like that. Like one ear, I'll just like, I don't hear in the one ear and it always comes back. So I don't panic. But when that happens, it's like, "Mm." So I'm missing out on the Oculus, I guess is my point. I'm super bummed about it.
Right? No, no, I was not bummed. I was not bummed after like the first time using it, and then watching the kids use it. I'm like, no, I bet.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna swing and I'm gonna hit the TV. I'm gonna cry. I'm then you guys, and then Carrie'd be like, I'm gonna just record you, and I'm like,
Yeah, don't put that out there. And did you 2 ladies see Laurie Place and Farrell Cheryl in the squirrel suits in Clearwater handing out nuts? Okay, I just saw it today, and it's in my queue to go back and watch and queue it up to share tomorrow during my recap because those are nice. Did you see them, Liz? They're nice squirrel suits.
they are. Carrie already packed hers.
Okay, good. So is hers just like theirs? Because DOA had one and someone else did too in LA, and it was cute, but these were like,
These are more the onesie ones.
yeah,
So that's what we have with the little squirrel head on the top with his little,
yeah.
and then the tail. Yeah.
Is it the same as the one that Laurie Plays was wearing in
I
Clearwater?
didn't get to see that. I heard about it. I haven't got to watch it yet.
Does yours have pockets?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I feel like I need to have pockets. I need to
Right.
find those. I need to get some for Tony and I. I don't know if he'd wear it. I would definitely wear it. I love a
I would
onesie.
definitely, I will definitely rock a squirrel outfit at least for
Yeah.
like, a couple hours
Oh, yeah.
Saturday.
I would wear if I could wear a onesie of some type, everywhere all the time. I would completely do it if it was socially acceptable. The only reason I wear ponchos because it's the only socially acceptable way to wear a blanket, and I like that. I like that. I like a blanket.
We go out in onesies all the time. Like,
Re
I've got my Yankee onesie. Carrie wears her whatever onesie. She's got like 300. Um,
Really?
yeah, she'll go out in her onesie whenever she wants.
Huh, why don't
We
I
don't care
do
if it's socially acceptable. I didn't have a childhood.
that? I may have to consider this. In the summertime, like, I like to wear one piece, kind of flowy things, that's the closest I get to wearing a onesie out in public, but in the wintertime and stuff here, just having something that's loose fitting like that, I would wear it every day. Every
Hey,
day.
there is onesies you can get that have like good breathing. So it's good for the summer. And then there's ones that are specifically for the winter.
I had no idea. Where do you get your onesies? Do you get these online?
Amazon.
Wow. That's
Carrie gets hers like because she likes the ones. And I like the um,
Mhm.
but she gets hers from somewhere specific. And then I look for my size, look for my all my measurements, and then I get that one.
Cool. That's so great. I need to get a onesie. All right, we gotta wrap up because I need to eat and I'm like, it's
And
7:30.
I
It's so
have to
late.
bring El Doggo,
You need to
the
pack.
wonderful. Yeah, I have to. I already packed. I packed yesterday, um, so everything is already ready to go. I
Mhm.
have to bring Bambino down to my mom's so that way we don't have any problems while I'm gone.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good. I'm sure that we will touch base. I will hear from you.
Always,
Absolutely.
it's like we'll know everything.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you are gonna have a great time. Like I said, you're gonna be surrounded by so much love, so much support. You're gonna be in just like this cloud of love and hugs.
Okay, that shot my anxiety up just a touch. Like I just imagined like a giant group hug, and I'm like, that's a whole lot of. Where's my bubble?
From a distance
Yep.
hugs.
Here we go. There we go, everybody.
All right, you
All right.
hold
Well,
tight,
we will
Liz.
catch up. Yes.
I'm gonna shut this show down. Everybody, I will see you at 7:30 AM tomorrow Central Time. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, get over to Liz Ferris's page and make sure that you're subscribed. Even if you are, go check your button because I swear
Yeah. Check the buttons, everybody. If you are not yet with Natalie, hit Natalie up. She's almost to 20,000.
that's right. We're playing the birthday game. That is
20,000.
that community's gift to L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology.
Right. And I'm playing the Carrie will come on live with me at 5,000.
Oh, that's awesome. So where are you at? How many more do we
I
need?
need like 670, I think. 650.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes, definitely everybody sub up. That'd be great. I bet for sure you hit that in LA.
I'm
Absolutely.
sure I'll hit it in LA. I was just hoping to tell her, hey, I'm gonna hit it before then.
Yeah.
I know that we don't have time to do multiple lives, but hey, when we get back, you're
That's great. It'll be fun. All right, everybody,
yes.
make sure you pay attention this weekend because Liz Ferris is going to be in California protesting Scientology with some other second generation creators for here from SPTV. Get out there, everybody, and have the most amazing cult free day.